she was like, "You're not overworking yourself again, are you?" And I was like, "No, don't worry." I ordered a wall sticker for my logo, which I told you about last week, and I left a little gap for it. So I'm going to show you my calendar design process. Next week's vlog is probably going to say like, "Oh, my calendar's in the shop, go get your calendars." I can't wait. I'm so excited. Do you want to be in my vlog?
Yeah. Guys, it's
so pretty.
Oh my gosh, let me show you what now. My days as well. Right. Right. The water looks like it should be like kind of icy.
So I'm into my second week of vlogging, and everything feels like it's going at a slower pace than I expected. I made this whole plan right before I left my corporate job of the week that I was basically going to have. So I scheduled everything out, and it's something that I'm planning to kind of transition into, but it didn't really go to plan in the beginning of how I was sort of expecting it to work. I expected that my first week was going to be very structured, very disciplined, and I ended up more feeling my way through it, which is kind of what I spoke about in my last video, where I really just want to be intentional and I don't really want to be forcing anything, or I just want this to all flow like very naturally and comfortably. So for the time being, my weeks have been a little bit, I don't know how to phrase it. I want to say all over the place, but it's not all over the place because it's worked really well for me. It's helped me to still get what needs to be done, but just without thinking too structured and without thinking too much of, deadlines. And I feel like thinking that way is kind of making it pressuring, and I haven't really had to think like that, which is nice. So this was my schedule, and it still is my schedule that I plan to do. I think what I'm starting to realize is that with this art business, it's not structured like a corporate business. Things kind of like ebb and flow. There's usually different priorities at different times, and it's not like everything there are certain elements that will have like times to be done, but it's not super rigid. So I think I'm going to have to use the week schedule as more of a guideline rather than something that must be stuck to. Because the thing is, like, I will inevitably get a cold or not feel well, which from my experience hinders my creativity, and I really just need that time to rest and not push myself. That's true for a lot of us, I think. So last week I was very much like just getting into everything, kind of familiarizing myself with everything again, redecorating. I ended up buying some new supplies. I cannot wait to show you. Actually, give me 2 seconds, I'll show you now. So I bought this guillotine. Oh, I love her so much. She's literally like the perfect shade of pink. Now, let me just show you what my old guillotine looks like. It's quite a fair bit bigger. And it's blue. What I had been noticing, so I've had this since I started making oracle decks. I want to say I've had this for 5 years now, and I have sharpened the blade, I have done all the things, but it's just gotten to the point now where it just seems to fray the edges a little bit more. So in that first week back, when I was redecorating and completely like cleaning this art studio, I was also buying like little supplies. And if you watched the previous video, you would have seen I bought a pink bin. I bought pink cutting mats for my Cricut. I just wish that I could change that to pink. I don't even know if I could get a pink version, but if I can, then that is going to be on my wish list for sure. I also had to make my bookmarks a very dark blue like hole puncher, and so I got these pink ones, which again you would have seen in the last video. I just don't think I talked about them a lot, you know? I think I was just more showing it as like B-roll. And now we get to chat about it. I also got, I don't know if you can see them. They came in. I wonder if it'll focus. Probably not. So as you all know, if you've watched my YouTube videos for a little while, I have these really amazing boxes. I'm gonna actually film those for you and put that over the screen so you can see. And I got these two. They were the only colors, or it was the only color that I really thought was okay to go with the Outroom, because they didn't have the baby pink anymore. So sad. A little bit of like the remnants of a cough, and it's kind of affecting my voice a little bit today. I got those because I had this like neon pink, hot pink container which I put my like backing cards that I made and tissue paper and all that sort of stuff, bookmarks and things in. Hello, Chitin. She's just staring at me. And it was, I just resented it every time I saw it. It was just not me. And you know, this has to feel comfortable. This has to feel right for me. This has to feel happy. So there are still a few things on my list that I really want to buy. But luckily I have also already like a good foundation of supplies. And also it's a lot smaller, which is actually quite nice. I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to like cut my paper with it, because I thought like, oh, maybe it's not big enough, like the blade, to actually cut the length of it, but it's absolutely fine, and it actually works a lot nicer than my other one. I did get it from Amazon. I don't think I have the like Amazon affiliates thing anymore where I can like link it for you, and like I get like a little commission if you buy it, but I'll link it anyway in the description for you. I can't link like card thingies just yet, but that should hopefully happen soon. There's another thing to kind of like get into. So where I'd been gone for like a year, my YouTube actually got demonetized, which I didn't know was even possible, but I mean, super understandable. I wasn't doing anything. So I need to kind of reach these limits again, to all these goals, to be able to add things like cards and stuff, and that only happens with like correlation to being monetized. But as soon as that is back, you will see cards again. I'll put all like the little links and stuff for everything, so it's just a lot more easier for you. If you don't want to like scroll to the description, you can literally just click on the video when I'm talking, and it usually, I mean, depending on how this video is going to be flipped when I edit it, but it'll be in like one of the corners. It's usually when you're watching it, the top right corner. So actually thinking about it, there isn't a lot, well, I just spotted something that wasn't on my list but is now on my list, or it has been on my list before. There isn't a lot of supplies, products, materials, tools that I want to replace, but the printers are definitely one of them, and not because of the quality or anything. The quality is amazing. I just want the same ones but in white. Like, I just think that would just look so nice in here. So that's also on the wish list. And then also I have a corner rounder. There it is, which is, it works well, but I really want a industrial one. I did actually buy one before. I can't remember if I put it into my YouTube vlogs or not. It didn't work the way I was expecting it to. It still like really frayed the edges. There was no like I don't really know what the word is, but it had nothing underneath to kind of like where the blade goes, like stop it from fraying. If you've used a guillotine before, you'll know that sometimes if you cut the paper that's more like hanging over the edge of the guillotine here, if you're cutting like the edge of a print or something, and you've got quite a lot, you've got the whole print hanging off of the actual solid guillotine, I hope this makes sense, then for me anyway, what I've noticed, you're most likely to get fraying because there's no like support underneath. And by fraying, it just means there's like really rough edges that aren't like clean cut. But with the guillotine, you have obviously the massive like solid support here. So you've got the main bulk of your print is on top of that. So when you go to like cut it, it's giving you a clean, smooth edge. So it's just kind of like that. That wasn't the case with that industrial one that I tried, and that really put me off because there was no instructions and I couldn't figure out how I was gonna make this work, because the thing I really wanted it for was my handmade oracle decks, because using this happens like, oh, I think it needs emptying, but I corner cut each singular card and then I corner cut it twice. So I do it on one side of the card, then flip it and do it again so that the edges are super smooth. So enough rambling. Basically, I just want to get that industrial cutter at some point and a corner rounder at some point, but I haven't found a decent one. So if you guys know any decent ones, please let me know. But also on the flip side of that, I haven't found any pink or white ones. I think that's kind of it, to be honest. I really need to show you something though. So 11 on 11, let's make a wish. I feel chaotic, but you know when I was editing my video from last week and I said like I feel chaotic in how I'm talking, like going from one subject to another, I was watching and I was like, this doesn't feel that chaotic, so maybe it's not. So what I was trying to say is that I ordered a wall sticker for my logo, which I told you about last week, and I left a little gap for it. I had this delivered, I think, Monday, and I still haven't opened it. Today is Friday. I'm filming today, and then I'm also going to be editing this video, this vlog, today as well, and then tomorrow. And my sister was really worried about me, one of my little sisters, not the one that you saw in the beginning of the video, my eldest little sister. She was like, you're not overworking yourself again, are you? And I was like, no, don't worry, I've said I'm not doing that, that's not what I'm doing. It's just that I'm almost taking it easy the other days. Like during the day, I've been relaxing a lot more, drawing for more fun, no like pressure. I haven't really spent as much time working to like the schedule I set about like during the day, so I'm spending a lot of time doing it either towards the end of the week. I don't know if you can hear, but there are building works going on outside. Yeah, so I've been doing the work kind of more towards the end of the week, and it's unfortunate today that I'm going to edit. I don't feel like 100% like wanting to do that. Well, no, actually I do really want to do it, but I think in the back of my head I'm like, well, I didn't want to do editing on Fridays because I wanted it to be done like on Thursdays, and then everything would be scheduled and I could take a breather, and then that's gonna, you know, release on the Sunday. So it's not ever going to be like I'm trying to race for a deadline. I think that's what I was trying to avoid, and I guess doing it today and tomorrow kind of fits that racing to a deadline, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels good. So I just literally keep forgetting what I'm talking about. I feel like I just keep going from one thing to another. So I haven't really been in the studio much. I've been in the studio to make my orders and ship those out, but in the day I haven't been spending as much time in the studio as I originally planned to. Also, my husband wasn't feeling great, so I was doing a lot of like the sort of things that he will take care of, the household things he will usually do, and so I was spending a lot of my days doing that. This is a wall sticker from Sticker App. So it was really hard to decide on a supplier for the wall sticker because I did find some other suppliers that were cheaper, but then I've ordered from Sticker App. I love their stickers and I know what like high quality is, and so I was sort of like, do I pay the higher price point for it for like a sticker that like, you know, I sort of expect what kind of like quality I'm gonna get from there. So I thought I would do that, and I'm hoping it paid off. I'm hoping it's the right choice. If not, I am not afraid to return it. So we will unbox that. So I have been really happy with the fact that this is my second week on YouTube, and I just want to say as well, like, thank you so much for watching my last video. Like, I wasn't expecting so many of you to watch again, and it really just, after being away for a year, and well, just over a year, it was just incredible to see how much of you guys were still there to support me. So yeah, I really appreciate that. And it was so nice to get all your comments as well. You guys were saying about welcome back, and I even had a few of you reach out and message me separately. And I just want to say that I really have such appreciation for you all. And without those sort of encouragements, then yeah, sure, you can still be motivated to do things because you know that you'll eventually reach more people. But I feel like at this time, like, I'm so lucky because I just feel so lucky because I have such support even after being away. And I wish you all the best in this world, all the love, all the happiness, all the success, all the freedom, all the joy. So going back into what I was saying, I've done well to get back onto social media in terms of YouTube. In terms of TikTok and Instagram, one thing that I still kind of feel, excuse me, I still kind of feel now is that TikTok and Instagram are very demanding and actually sometimes feel like, sometimes, not all the time, because coming up against like perspective on how I view things and reframing my mind. So it doesn't have to be, you know, not great return for what you're putting in. But my past experience is that when I would post things, I wouldn't always necessarily get the engagement that I expected for the effort I was putting into it. Whereas on YouTube, it feels completely different. I feel it just feels like relaxed. Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't feel like I'm having to beg the algorithm to show my videos to people. It feels more relaxed on here, and I really love that about it. But at the same time, I know that Instagram and TikTok don't have to be that way to me, but I think at the moment it feels like I'm gonna have to prepare quite a lot of reels and, you know, reels, TikToks. And I really want to do that, and I want to create those things because actually I loved so much to make those videos. Funny, like relatable kind of videos is what I was sort of like more doing, the relatable stuff like for artists. And I love doing that so much. And I really also love doing things like that, either like Procreate mini tutorials on there, or like before and afters of your work, or process videos. I love those kind of things. So my plan is to get back into that, but I'm doing exactly what I said I was going to do, which was I'm going to listen to myself and I'm going to take it at the pace that my body's kind of like telling me. And, you know, I've been writing down some real ideas. I definitely feel like this is going to be happening next week, and it's probably going to be my priority next week to focus on, which is exciting. At the same time, I've felt such like happiness and like this is the right thing, even despite not really posting onto onto TikTok and Instagram. Although, like, when I flip it and I think about it in my head, I am still posting to like a social media that's not YouTube, and that is Patreon. I think I'm kind of like treating that as like Instagram stories in a sense, where I just kind of, it's a bit of a mix really. So I'll like do the art posts, and then I'll also do like the work in progress posts. I'll do like the polls and all of that sort of stuff, and talk to my patrons about like what projects they've got going on. And so I think I'm using it in that sense. And so I'm just going to basically add in TikTok and Instagram. And thinking about it now, I don't think it's actually going to be too hard to sort out, because it's going to be, TikTok's basically going to be every single reel that I post from Instagram, because you'll reach different people. And the only other difference is Instagram is a lot more like an all-rounder. Like, so I'll post some artworks that I've posted to my Patreon that people haven't seen yet, and then I'll also post to my stories, which is what I'm currently doing anyway. So I am utilizing aspects of it, but I'm just being gentle. And this is your reminder that you don't have to meet a goal. You're not in a rush. Things are going to happen when they're going to happen. You don't have to pressure yourself. Like, And I know it's not intentionally pressuring yourself either. It's just like you feel like there's this urgency that stuff needs to be done. And there's really not. There's really not. Like, if you go with that pressure, you're going to be stressing yourself out. Like, why not just take the step back and allow it to just sort of unfold how it's meant to unfold? And like, I think thinking that way, this is for me, but I think thinking that way means that you are still gonna get the goal of what you're wanting to achieve. You're just not doing it with any rush, with any like pressure on yourself. You're not doing it with any what's the word? Self like guilt or self-loathing. You're not criticizing yourself on something that really is not, it's not that important really in the grand scheme of things. For instance, in my case, if I never posted to Instagram again, I'm still gonna get Etsy sales, I'm still going to get shop sales, I'm still going to be able to talk to you. So I'm still going to be able to do those things. I'm still going to be able to enjoy the other aspects of it. So just, things don't have to be that deep. Oh my gosh, I didn't even talk about the thing that is the plan for today. Okay, so obviously I told you that editing is the plan. That is the plan for later on today. Today in the day, I am designing my 2026 calendars. I'm so excited because I recently completed 2 new fairy, was it 2? 3. Yeah, for you, for non-Patreon members, it would be 3 recent fairy drawings that haven't been seen yet, I think. I'm so excited because I'm going to be making a fairy themed calendar. I have kind of gone back and forth on whether or not I wanted to make it like a I want to say manifestation kind of quotes calendar. So it's going to be like sort of things like you're always abundant, but a little bit more thoughtful. This is just like right now off the top of my head. But it'll be like on the calendar with the artwork. I don't know if I'm going to do that though this time. I might do that next year because the calendars that I've always made have been my artworks, and that's like been the focus. And as an artist, I think that's a really good thing to do. It's like it's just your art. But as a business owner, it's really nice to think about, you know, what people would like that's different. And when I think of things like that, I think about my audience and who would buy it and stuff. And generally, my audience is like me or very similar to me in terms of their interests. So I would love a calendar with like those little phrases. In one of my videos from last year, I think I showed you that I had those pieces of paper that I literally just, the one day I think I just wanted to feel like a little bit happier about things. And so it was like scraps of paper and it just said something like, I can't remember because I've taken them all down now, but it said stuff like abundance is on the way to you, or you're getting everything you desire, it's your birthright. Obviously, you know that I have this little piece of paper on my wall that says nothing is even real, you're on a floating rock. And I feel like those little phrases that I had all around my studio were very much like grounding messages, including like obviously that one. It kind of takes you out of that like, oh my god, everything is so bad kind of perspective, and it makes you sort of think like, we're literally in space, like it's not really that deep, is it? And like, I know sometimes it feels deep. I'm laughing about the fact that like I have been so like in that sort of meltdown mindset and then been like, girl, chill. Anyway, so I think that's where like the idea came from, is that I had those pieces of like scraps of paper with motivational messages and stuff, and I really wanted to put that on the calendar. I think like the manifestation calendar, perfect for people who are looking for a manifestation calendar. They're not looking for, I mean, they may be, but predominantly they're looking for those messages and those quotes. They're not looking for the pretty art. I mean, I think if you were going to be looking for a manifestation calendar, you'd probably be looking for pretty art as like a bonus. You'd be looking at like the prettiest one, but not necessarily going for the artwork. Whereas the artist calendar, it's very much like you're buying it for that artist's artwork. And so, and obviously with the fairies one, it's obviously the fairy niche. So it's also for people who want a fairy calendar, which I have found there is a serious lack of. And as someone who loves fairies, I was like, well, luckily I can just make my own. And obviously if I combine those, then I'm going to be reaching the people who want the manifestation quotes, and I'm going to be reaching the people who just want the art. But if the people who want the manifestation quotes don't want the art or don't resonate with the art, don't like the art, then I'm just not sure. So that's kind of where I've been at. And now I've been saying all of this to you, then I am like, why don't you make a manifestation one? And you may have bought my calendars in the past and you're buying them because you love the artwork. You may not necessarily want like some manifestation quotes on it. You may be just wanting the artwork. I think ideally, if I can, I make 2 versions. I would love to know your opinion though. If you, like, which one would you prefer? Or would you not really have a preference? Would you go for either one? But anyway, my point is that that's what I'm doing today with. And last night I was sketching out my ideas for each month and which fairy was going to be for which month. And it's one of my favorite parts of designing the calendars is figuring out like which artwork kind of vibes with which month. And so this is what I have for now. And one of the artworks, as you can see, is something that I drew for my potential tarot deck, but it's in sketch mode, in base colors mode. It's not rendered, it's not finished, it's none of that yet. So I would need to finish that first before ordering. So I'm gonna look at the time frame on the calendars, how long they'll take to be printed and sent. And my goal is to have them in the shop next week, I think. So for November, it was this fairy. Now, it's a kind of mix of new fairies and I want to say old fairies. They're not old, but they're just like fairies that I haven't done this year. I've done the mix because to do all of the drawings, this was a poll actually that we had on my Patreon, to do all of the fairy drawings from scratch would have taken a very long time. The drawings take me between like 6 and 12 hours to complete. And really, I think that if I'm posting it too late, then there's no real point in me buying a bulk of it because people will still order in January, but they're not going to order much past that. I think I had like probably 5 calendar orders throughout the year after January, so it's really not a lot. People generally do it before Christmas, and like now is the perfect time to buy calendars. I feel like calendars are such a good gift to give as well, and you can really like tailor it to people as well, so it's a really nice gift to give. So I think it starts being ordered around now and then goes up until Christmas. And obviously, you know, people will get money for Christmas and then you'll have like January sales and things, and then they'll spend their money that they got for Christmas on those, and so that's where you get the January sales as well. This is my experience on how it's worked. So my business head is saying like needs to be done soon. Like it should have already been done next year. Obviously I'm going to be focusing on this business, so I will be doing it much sooner than what I've started now. This is, you know, the soonest that I could have done it really. Next week's vlog is probably going to say like, oh, my calendars in the shop, go get your calendars. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And obviously in the last video, if you watched it, you would have seen I have a gap ready and waiting for my displayed 2026 calendar. So I'm going to have one displayed there, and then I'm just going to have, so this one is my current 2025 one. Let me show you. This is my current one for 2025. Also, how crazy is it that we're in September already? I feel like everybody says this every year, like, wow, the year has gone by so quick. But like, I remember starting 2025 and being like, 2025 is going to be the best year ever. And it actually was pretty good, with some moments sprinkled in, but you know, still grateful. But yeah, so I've got, I mean, you can still order this if you want. Obviously the days at the top there will be out, but I mean, you can still use it for, I still do have a few of them left. I'm going to have the 2026 one that I'll use there, and then I'm going to have the display version on my wall over there. So I'm going to show you my calendar design process. So I have templates on the calendars that I've done for previous years, and I use this in Photoshop. Everything is kind of like set up, the bleed lines and all of that. I should also have, you know, the framework of what the pattern's going to be. So like the, you know, the like semi-transparent rectangle with all the dates and things in it. So I will have that ready, but obviously it's going to be in the format of last year. So what I tend to do is I will bring up a calendar on Google, like nothing special, for the next month that I'm working on. So say I'm going to start with January, so it's going to be January 2026, and I'm going to search that up, and then I'm going to work out which days are when. It can be a little bit tricky sometimes because some months will have 5 weeks. If say the first is on the Sunday, then there's going to be that 5th week, and then I've got to have basically that extra row of dates. And so with that, there's some templates that I already have from different months from 2025 that already have the 5 columns. So I will just copy and paste that over onto the date that's changed. So say January ends up being a 5-columned week, then, and it was 4 in 2025, then I'll just kind of delete the 4 and copy in the 5. And then after rearranging the numbers for each month, I will then add the image. I think I actually add the image first. If at this point anything needs to be changed, for instance, if the transparent box is covering most of the important parts of the artwork, then I'm probably going to choose a different artwork. Also, you will have known this about me, but I really love to be diverse. So I really love to include lots of different ethnicities in all my artworks, and this obviously then translates to my calendars as well. I just really think that representation is so important as well, and I just love people. So once I have then finalized the whole thing, this can sometimes be a long process. It really just depends on how easy the year is to move around. For instance, if I've got a lot of those 5-column months, then I'm probably gonna spend a little bit longer on it. But generally, since having the template, it's pretty easy. If any of you are creatives like me and you're interested in having or creating your own calendars, making them up to sell them or whatever, and you would like this template, what I could do is I could end up putting on my Patreon for you so that you can just open it into Photoshop and there you go, you've got it. You can change the fonts, you can, you know, make it yours essentially. And that will really help you because making the template was a thing that took a very long time for me in the beginning. So it's so handy now, and it just makes the process a lot quicker. So it's definitely worth it. So I'm going to put that template on there for you. And then at this point, when everything is done, and then order the calendar and the supplier I use. I think it takes literally like a week. That is essentially it. It doesn't have to be complex to make the calendars. There are definitely some suppliers I would stay away from in terms of calendars. The suppliers can be really amazing in terms of their other products, but and I do order the different products from them. It's very, like, with those more well-known ones, the calendars tend to be more like for families, for people who want to just gift a calendar to like their family or family photos or something like that. And so on the back there'll be like a logo, like there'll be a black and white image of your calendar's front page, and it's definitely not business friendly, it's definitely not professional. So always look for print companies whose audience is other companies and businesses, because with those mainstream printing companies, they are more about personalization for the average person. They do obviously have business supplies, but when it comes to things like calendars, photo books and stuff like that, I don't think personally that they are looking at it from, oh, this is a business buying this to sell on, you know, as promotional or product for their their business. They're looking at it like, oh, okay, the everyday person is going to order this and gift it to their family. So there's a very different view that comes across, like when you're doing calendars that for families and when you're doing business wise. If you're doing it for businesses, then you're going to have a lot more creativity, you're going to have a lot more customization options, the option to fully create it yourself, whereas the mainstream ones are looking at the quickest way, the easiest way for those families to be able to insert their images, make a calendar, boom, done. They want it to be quick and easy. They don't want the sort of like, you're going to have a template that is blah, blah, blah pixels by blah, blah, blah pixels. You need to fit in with these guidelines. You're going to have bleed edges. That's not their market. And, you know, so that's why I always try and look for the printing companies whose market is for other businesses, for designers, for people who will take the time to do the bleed edges and things like that. So we've reached the end of another vlog. At first when I sat down today, I was like starting to feel like a bit nervous, like, oh my gosh, am I going to be able to chat? Like, what am I going to talk about? Like, I already knew what I was going to talk about, but like, you sit down and the nerves start to kick in, and it's so weird because last week I didn't feel that at all. But this, when I started this vlog, I did feel that way. And then I started like just chatting to you, like I'm knowing that I'm chatting to you, if that makes sense. So I'm ignoring the fact that I'm talking to a camera, and I know that this isn't actually the end result. This is going to be seen by you. So yeah, so that really helps to, it's kind of like just being on FaceTime. You're just kind of like blah, 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 blah. And I love that feeling. So thank you so much for being here again for another week, and I just can't get over your support. It really means the world to me. Let's see each other next Sunday at the same time. I'm excited to see where the weeks go. I'm excited to see what next week brings, what's going to happen in the studio. I did think, like, if there's going to be some downtime at all, because there has been in the past where I don't really have as much going on in the studio than I would like at a time like this when I've just started. So I did think, what am I going to do? And I thought, like, why don't we just have like a drawing vlog? Like I'll do a drawing piece and you can see like the whole drawing, and then I can just chat to you about it and chat to you about any kind of thing, like maybe mindset. I really love talking about that. So yeah, I think that's what it's gonna look like when the vlogs are a little bit like there's not really anything to chat about, or there's nothing really going on. Anyway, I'm gonna let you go. Have the bestest day ever, and thank you so much again. As always, I love you so much. Mwah.